How do you help your learner who has a visual impairment cross a street? Maybe it seems so busy when they're crossing streets on campus, or maybe as a teacher, you just don't know what to do. Both of those questions we will give you the answer to in this video. Welcome back to my series, How to Teach a Student with a Visual Impairment. I'm Cassie Maloney. I'm an orientation and mobility specialist, as well as the founder here at the Society of Exceptional Educators. And even though I have 17 years of experience teaching orientation and mobility, and now working with orientation and mobility specialists and TVIs and classroom teachers all around the world, this part never really seems to get easier. I know it can be really scary when your student is getting ready to cross a street and you don't know exactly how to help them. It can feel really confusing. So we're going to break it all down for you today. In this video, I'm going to be going over the different types of streets that you'll come across on a school campus, the terminology that you'll want to understand, and what that student's cane needs to be doing at all times, and even how to help support your student, the types of prompts you want to give them, and exactly what to avoid. Now, before we go out into the community, I want to break a few things down for you. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what types of intersections you're going to be finding, and then we'll get into the rest of it. So when you are traveling on your campus, you're going to be finding T-shaped intersections as well as plus-shaped intersections and just random driveways, which we can kind of take as T-shaped intersections. Now, a T-shaped intersection, as you can see, is an intersection that is shaped like a T. These are typically actually more complex to cross than plus-shaped intersections. Plus-shaped intersections are shaped as a plus. Now, on campus, you may or may not have stop signs throughout the streets on your campus. Sometimes there's just like a rolling stop. Sometimes it's just more of a driveway into a parking lot. Every campus is going to be different. So let me show you exactly how to cross those streets, where you need to stand, and how to prompt your student. If your student is standing next to the curb, you are going to stand a little bit behind them to the side of them, so that way you aren't a sound shadow. And then you can ask them questions like, what do you hear? When is the safest time to cross? And allow them to make the decision as to when to cross the street. Let's talk about how to support your learner through the street crossing. First, my friend, if you are guiding them, please talk with their O&M specialist, because they probably don't need it. Unless they have like a physical impairment or unless they're gonna run, they can do this on their own. They just need support and practice and a little bit of time. I know you don't have that much time. I get that. You have so many places to be, you have so many other kids, and they're so much further ahead already by the time you even get to the street. Yes, all of that. That is very valid. And the more we skip over this, the slower your learner gets in comparison to the other students. And the more frustrating the situation can get for all of you. So what I want you to do is literally just take a step back. You're going to stand behind your learner or to their side, and you're going to stand diagonally behind them and to their side, away from the cars, because you don't want to be a sound shadow. Now, a sound shadow is when there's an object in front of a sound. What happens is that the sound waves come, they hit the object, and then they bounce right back. And then they might go around, but it's not going to be a clear sound. Just like if you were to put like a block in front of your ear while somebody's talking to you, you're not going to get the same sound as if that block wasn't there. That's exactly what a sound shadow is, and you don't want to be one. When you're prompting your student, you're going to want to make sure that you are not asking the same question over and over and over again, because that really just creates a prompt-dependent learner. And we don't want that. We want learners who are actually thinking about, is it the safest time to cross? Also, when we're crossing a street, a lot of times people get stuck in this question of, is it safe to cross? Is it safe to cross? Is it safe to cross? And that's a really weighted question to ask a student. What we want to be asking them instead are things like, what do you hear? Are there any cars coming? Is this the safest time to cross? Now notice I'm not saying, when is it safe to cross? Because we don't want to impart the idea that there's no risk in this. There's risk in everything that we do. Everything everybody does, there's risk. And so I like to say, when is it the safest time to cross? Not when is it safe to cross. Because every crossing, every step is going to have some sort of risk. And then you want to start using words like all quiet, all clear, which is what the orientation and mobility specialist will be using to indicate that there are no cars around at that intersection. All quiet means that the environmental noises are pretty quiet, that there's no construction going on, no overhead ambulances, no buses driving by. That's what all quiet means. All clear means that there aren't cars approaching the intersection. Now, can you cross when cars are approaching the intersection? Yeah, you can, if the orientation and mobility specialist has given that approval and your learner understands what they need to do in that moment. But that's for a whole other video. You can also cross when there is a lull, and that means the cars are coming towards the intersection, but you have enough warning time to make it across safely with plenty of time. So your warning time is the amount of time that it takes for the car to get to the intersection from the first nanosecond that it is heard. And this is something that your orientation and mobility specialist can work with you and your learner on. The warning times are going to be different depending upon the time of day sometimes, depending upon the weather, depending upon even like the speed of the car, but you want to take an average of the warning time. So this is something that your learner is going to want to know if they're crossing intersections when cars are coming to that intersection. Otherwise, the safest time to cross is all quiet, all clear. Now, if you are crossing when cars are actually at the intersection and your orientation mobility specialist has said, yes, that's totally fine, this is normal in this case, or this is a skill the student has, or they need to practice, totally fine, I'm completely behind you. What you're going to want to do is have your learner lift their head up and look towards wherever the car is and put their hand up, just like you would when you're crossing a street. What that does is indicate to the driver, hey, I am crossing, thank you so much for waiting for me. It also gives them a little bit bigger of a body. And you want a bigger body when you're crossing so that you have a better chance of being seen. Looking at a driver, putting your hand up is a typical thing that sighted people do, and we want to instill that in our learners no matter how much vision they have so that they can start to incorporate those skills as well. Is that mandatory? No. And it can be individualized. It may not work for your learner, so definitely double check. The things that you'll probably find at an intersection on a school campus are things like the curbs and the ramped curb cuts. Some people just call these curb cuts. They were installed after the ADA laws went into place in 1990, so oftentimes they're retrofitted into the ground here. You might also find truncated domes, which are the bumps that you see right before your learner will get to the street crossing. Some people just call these bumps, but they're technically called truncated domes. Now, the way you want to have your learner use their cane when they're coming down to the ramped curb cut. And how you want to have your learner stand is, first and foremost, they need to come down to the bottom of the ramped curb cut unless otherwise specified by the O&M specialist. Then they'll have their cane put in front of them in a diagonal technique, and your learner might use their cane in a diagonal across their body with the cane tip at the edge of the curb on the other side of their body as the cane. Or their O&M specialist might have them use the cane to hook the curb. Now, hooking the curb is what we do when we have our cane over to the side of our body that is on the same side as the cane hand. So for me, for example, when I'm in diagonal, my cane is on the left side because I'm holding the cane with my right hand. But when I hook the curb, my cane is over to the right because I'm holding my cane with the right hand. Now, either way, the very first thing that your learner needs to do is sweep their cane or move their cane or flag their cane. All the same word, all different words for the same thing. Yes, I completely understand, but they're going to want to technically move their cane left and right one time and then start moving. And this is simply to get the visual attention of any driver present. Now, granted, you're currently probably teaching your learner to use their cane and cross the street when there are no cars present. I know. It sounds contradictory, but it's not, I promise. This is a skill that your learner needs to have for when they start crossing streets with traffic present, because that is probably coming in their curriculum. Just because they're not doing it now or they're not doing it with you doesn't mean that it's not a skill that they need to have. So we need to instill these proper habits so that way when they do start crossing streets and they do start going off campus with their orientation and mobility specialist, if they're not already, that they have those skills in place. And the most important thing that you can do, honestly, is be quiet and let them think. Especially if this is an emerging skill for them, they're going to just need a little bit of time to figure it out. And maybe even some encouragement. When your learners need encouragement, you can put your hand on their shoulder to let them know that you are there next to them. But they are the ones making the decision. Also, with your hand on their shoulder, you can also put your hand at the front of their shoulder if they need to be held back. Or you could just say the word stop or pause. And then they'll get what you're trying to say. Because in this moment, they as a person, their identity is growing and shifting. And just like when your identity grows and shifts, it can be really hard on your psyche, especially if you just came from math class and you didn't understand that to begin with, and now you have to go to lunch and you don't like what your mom packed you, or you have tactile sensitivity, or you have, like, there's going to be a lot of noises, or like maybe the girl you have a crush on is going to sit with you or not sit with you. There's a lot of anxiety going on in these kids. And we got to hold space for them at the same time. As you can see, crossing streets on a campus is not the most difficult thing. Your learner doesn't need to be guided through it, probably, and you might be offering way too much support. If this was helpful, I invite you to stick around with us, indulge in all these videos here on YouTube, and come join us in the Society. It is our free membership that we host meetups. We give you tips and tricks that you can't find here, and they're always the most innovative skills possible. Go ahead and click the links below, and also there are some free goodies. If you're brand new to working with students who have visual impairments, we've got 5 essential things that you can start doing right now, PDF. You can grab that below as well and check out any of our programs. I'd love to have you in them. And for today, I hope you can use this information to help you take a step forward.